Hey guys, welcome to another episode of
You don't even know what it's called.
Kuhlman and Corey Movie Show.
Kuhlman and Corey Movie Show. K and CMS.
Something like that.
Kuhlman and Corey.
1917.
1800. Get your credit score.
Watched a World War I movie. The entire movie was one
Filmed
take.
during World War I. On-scene cameras. This is actual footage from the Western Front.
This was a brutal movie.
It wasn't that like gory. I take that back. I guess when it goes from it's too many spoilers.
Let's start this off spoiler free. Introduce people to the movie. Get them comfortable. If they like it, they can click out of the video and go watch it. We recommend
I don't think it was gory or like
you go watch it
overdone.
first.
I already watched it.
Yeah,
You're telling them. You should talk to them, then don't talk to me.
right.
Go watch the movie.
Yeah.
You have so much time with COVID.
All right. Did you like it?
I loved it.
You loved it.
I loved it.
I liked it.
10 out of 10.
Wow. You really mean that?
Yeah. I'm not wrong.
I gave it a 3 out of 5. What did you like about it so much?
I thought it was I started the movie and then all of a sudden it was over. And I look at my watch and it's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm
Wow.
like, wow. That's like engrossing.
Yeah.
Like you, at some point I started the movie because you obviously rented it, watched it with her, and we've said her name.
Yeah, my
Jolie.
girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, your girlfriend. And I wasn't able to watch it that night. I watched it the next day, and you were like passing back and forth and doing your lullabies in the kitchen, and it was
What does that even mean?
de-immersifying my experience watching the movie. So I kept yelling at you to shut the fuck
Hey,
up.
shut up! I'm trying to watch my movie. I was bothering you.
God fucking damn it, Michael. My home theater experience is ruined. But
Yeah.
I mean, good acting, good story. You can just tell that Sam Mendes put a lot of forethought into
Yeah.
everything, the technicality and the story as well. So
Yeah.
obviously not based on anything in like reality per se. There was no actual.
Jajolie asked me, was this a real
a real
movie?
story?
And I said, yeah. And she's like, what happens? Like, do you know the story? I was like, we'll see. I have no idea.
Just watch.
Just watch it. Yeah, it's real story.
Yeah. I mean, that's all. That's like the basis of like just watch it. I think
Yeah.
that's what we want to give all of you as a takeaway is just go see this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, go see. By go see, I mean go rent and
Go
come
rent
home
it,
and
yeah.
watch it.
Yeah, we'd recommend it. Its hook is it's definitely a different style of movie. I don't know what it is about war movies and long takes, but they seem to go hand in hand. Saving Private Ryan opens up with that famous, everyone knows that scene of D-Day, the invasion, and it's just going through, and it's kind of a moment in time of war, and it was very like there's just so much horrific stuff happening that's being thrown at you, and you're following like one guy passing through all the carnage and wreckage and
Dead bodies,
Yeah.
blown up, smoking, charred. Like I thought it was awesome. The shots that they took, that they were able to take with just the carnage that was around them.
Yeah.
Like a giant hole with water and bodies floating in it.
Yep.
100% accurate.
Yep.
Crawling through, no man's land past barbed wire and tanks, and you jump in a hole and you're like, all right, I'm safe. And then you look next to you and there's a decomposing body next to
Yeah.
it. It's like, it's very, very visceral, but I think it lends to the accuracy of the movie because of how brutal that war was.
Yeah.
Like you start off with like horses and
Oh, yeah.
buggies and muskets, and then by the end of the war, you're, tanks, airplanes,
Yes.
machine guns. So
I listened to a Dan Carlin podcast about World War I. It was like 3 or 4 hours long. It was back when I was working as a grill cook, and you have to prep the food. And so I would just like put on one headphone, and I would put on my gloves and just cut chicken for like hours, and I would just listen to like this horrific World War I. Dan Carlin, anyone who knows about him with podcasts, he's just like super interesting. He's just talks for hours and telling interesting anecdotes and facts. And his whole thing about World War One is that it was way brutal. There was less people, less countries involved, but it was horrific. They didn't have tanks and in the same way as World War II. World War II was a tech boom for the time, but in World War One they were using like not muskets. And I'm getting the details wrong. Don't listen to us and think that we're historic.
Single fire rifles with blades attached to the end still, and your tanks are pretty much just tubs with tracks on the side, and you're firing the same ammunition like an artillery shell that you would from the normal ground.
Yeah.
You know, and I think this is where like Germany's prowess came out, was like, oh, they've been planning this for a while, so they had been developing guns, and kind of the rest of the Allied forces were still trying to like catch up with their advancement in technology. Like you can see it in this movie where they're going through their own trenches, the Allied trenches, and they get to the German ones, and it's like they've been there for years and years.
They look more like prepared.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like precise. Like there's certain things are a certain way. It's concrete. You know, they're layered. Like you can literally see in the Allied trenches.
Yeah.
It's just dirt, and then you got beds laid up against the sides of it, so you
Yes.
can put the bed in if you need to sleep. And you go to the German side, and it's literally like
Organized.
it's perfect slats on the side with
bags of sand
with
or whatever.
concrete,
Yeah.
and they're all layered perfectly. It's like a full plan out. Like they came in there, they dug this out, and then the Allied forces had to keep pushing and pushing.
And just the whole plot of the movie is the Germans are prepared, and they're planning things, and the English in this case are reacting to what the Germans are doing. So, you know, we start off with two regular soldiers in like a
They're
field.
corporals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not in positions of leadership. They're kind of regular soldiers. Was my
I
impression.
don't think
of them.
they're recruits. Like I
No.
think the main character. I did some brief reading, and it was mentioned a little bit, like that he was at the Battle of Somme.
Okay.
And
Were these actually based on real
no,
that you read?
No.
Okay.
No, the characters are not based on it.
Okay.
But the background of the character is that he's already been at the biggest battle of the World War One.
Okay.
At the Battle of Somme, there was 1 million deaths, the largest.
Do you know where that
modern-day
was?
Somme.
Somme?
I think it's France.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure. That sounds like a French word.
Okay.
Because I'm Frenchist.
Yeah.
But 1 million deaths, like it's still considered the largest loss of life in modern war.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
World War One. Yeah,
yeah,
that's interesting.
So he survives that, and now he's like, all right, now I'm back, kind of near the front lines, and so he has a little bit of like experience with what's going on. That's why he's so hesitant when the other guy's like, all right, let's go, I can do this, I gotta go get my brother. And he's like, whoa, this is no man's land, like 20 meters out, and we're gonna
we
get
have
killed.
to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole movie follows these two guys, and they're on a mission, and the mission is to go save a bunch of a separate battalion.
Two battalions.
Okay. Yeah.
1,600 men.
Yeah, and it was interesting because it's a journey movie, so it's two characters on a journey, so very like
It's a road trip.
Lord of the Rings-esque, where we have to go from one point on the map to the other, and we're going to pass through all this crazy stuff, and a lot of scene changes and different settings, and this movie felt super lived in. Like the sets that they had were on site. They were
On location.
yeah, there was no green screen in a warehouse, and it felt enclosed. There's only a few scenes where they're inside some sort of bunker area,
Right.
and that felt very cramped. But most of the movie's outside at different times of the day, and it kind of travels throughout just kind of
I mean, it literally
one
is
day.
from like one morning or one
morning
early
to the next morning.
until the next morning. Yeah,
Yeah.
about 24 hours.
yeah, and it's pretty fast paced. And I guess some of the complaints you could see is, oh, it's a movie about two guys just walking. I was talking with someone at work, and he was like,
Walking
that movie,
simulator.
yeah, that movie was boring. It was just about two guys walking through a battlefield. I was like, how dare you? It is.
Remove him from your friends list.
Yeah, it's no, I like that guy, but bad takes on movies. I would not do a podcast with him about it.
No guess.
No guest. You're not gonna make it on
Retracted.
here. Yeah. I could see how people could see this movie as boring, but I didn't think it was at all. It's very tragic in that it's a lot of bad things happen and then they get worse.
How many minutes are we? Can we do spoilers yet? I'm just kidding. I won't spoil.
We
it too
can.
hard.
If you have a good point, I think we can go into spoilers. If you'd like to.
Well, you just keep saying that it's the journey of two guys, but
All right, go ahead. say whatever you want. Free reign. Good luck out there, viewers, listeners.
Unfortunately, we lose one of our journeymen.
Yes.
And it comes down to one person. So.
Yes.
I mean, and that's part of the historical accuracy as well, is that, you know, in World War One, they didn't have cell phones or satellites, no radio. It's primitive phone technology or
What do you mean
Morse
primitive
code.
phone? There was no phone.
Yeah, they had primitive radios, primitive phone. There's wires that they were able to transmit
Oh, right.
live. But
Okay.
it was that in combination with like Morse, or I'm pretty sure it was Morse.
They were able to send transmissions like Morse code,
Yeah.
but not on the battlefield.
They were on the battlefield. They were sending. It's one of the lines that the general says is like, oh, they're retreating, and they gave us a parting gift of cutting our telephone lines,
Okay.
so that they weren't able to
Oh.
communicate with General McKin, whatever the fuck, and so I guess the point was that you had to send a person or teams or a small group of people in order to get guarantee messages. Well, as much guarantee as you can get in a war to send messages to your various areas. And so, you know, you always sent in at least two so that you can guarantee the message get there. And that's why we lose one of our guys, and the other
Yeah.
one, through his journey, ends up making it.
I know we talked about it a lot in the last episode where we talked about the gentleman, where English values versus American cultural values, but it's very English in the sense of England is a small continent that had to establish a navy and defend itself for like thousands.
Millions? You were gonna say
thousands.
millions.
No, I wasn't gonna say millions. Thousands of years, and they've been a continent island, and they're still going strong. They're not as powerful as they used to be, but they're going to be around a lot longer than America. Is probably my I'm just making that up. Just their way of being. I think America is too scattered. We're one big melting pot of a bunch of people who disagree and throw middle fingers at each other.
That'll
and
be Western America, Eastern America,
Yeah.
Southern America.
yeah, the Texas is going to break off in its own country
Yeah.
in the next 100,
California
200 years.
secession.
Yeah,
I'll be a part of that war in
in 2000.
2045.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Whereas England is, you have English values, and one of them is loyalty and bravery, and I know America has that too, but it was really
This is the land of the free, home of the brave. What are you talking about? Brave is
yeah,
our
but,
word.
but I'm just going with the themes of the movie, and I don't know if Sam Mendes, the director, is British, but he's done a lot of British film. In fact, I think he is British, just based on his style of movies. But
I don't know.
I'm not sure either. But two men go off into battle. One has to deliver a message to save his brother, and the other one is loyal to his friend, and he gets upset that why the fuck did you take me out on why did you choose me for this journey?
Yeah. Well, because the brother, the one who's charged with the mission,
Yeah.
is literally charged with it, and it said, "Hey, pick one of your guys.
Yeah.
Come with me." And this guy just happens to be sleeping on a tree right next to him, and they're probably, a little bit closer friends. He tells funny stories to him, and that's his like fond idea of their friendship. And they get to a certain point, he's like, "Fuck you! Why did you
Yes.
pick me? You could have picked anyone else. I've already done my." It kind of lends to his history of being in that big battle of like, I don't fucking want to go into battle
Yeah.
and kill people and have that trauma again. Like, I'm sure
Yep.
he gets to the end and he sits at that tree and he looks at his family. He's like, "Fuck, never again. I don't want to be out here. Get me out of here." And that's probably, there's so
But
many
he-
scenes of boys in this movie.
Yes, a lot of
14,
kids.
15, 16, 17, 18. There's no draft age back then. Can you hold a gun? Can you listen to orders?
Get out
Can
there.
you walk? Yeah, you're coming with us.
Yep.
Brutal.
And it was fighting for your country, and that's a driving force of get out there and represent your family, and
Yeah.
and so
Oh, the brother is in like the royal army, the King's Royal Guard, because he is because he's educated.
Okay.
So he's a little bit of like the higher class of that time.
Sure.
And this other guy is not. So that's their kind of like, oh, I'm in charge because I have money, not necessarily because I deserved or I earned this position through merit. So that's why I say they're not recruits, because they have a little bit of experience.
Yeah. And so the guy ends up dying, and kind of his last breath is, get the message to my brother and save my brother. And the guy takes on the mantle and accomplishes the mission despite just, I mean, by the end of it, I love the ending scene where we could still jump around and talk more about the movie, but when he comes in,
just get to the end
and
finish for me,
listens to the preparation of the battle beforehand, and there's like one young guy singing to the rest of the crowd, the rest of the guys, and they go off into battle, and the guy who has to deliver the message is exhausted, like he can't even stand, and you just think he's not going to make it, and the movie might end. And the difference between America's cinema and English cinema, broadly speaking, is that Americans are put on a happy face, but we're actually cynical, and England puts on a brave face, a tragic face, and then in the end, it's actually positive. But they don't outwardly show the positivity, but in the end, the hero gets his journey, and we lost a lot of men along the way, but at least we got there. So the biggest thing here is Killing Them Softly ends with no spoilers for this movie, but
we already spoiled that. Go check out
that movie. But basically, the end message in Killing Them Softly is cynical, and the end message in The Gentleman, which is an English film by Guy Ritchie, and this movie is positive in the end, even though it's tragic up until that point. And that's something I've noticed with the difference between the two continents and the way they shoot movies. Yeah.
Different influences.
Yeah. So, let's see. We got to talk about the fact that the whole movie is shot as if it's one take.
Yeah.
And that takes so much preparation. You actually looked at the special features and the bonus scenes at the end.
Right, on the DVD.
What did you learn from
the technical know-how, the technical preparation that it took?
Yeah.
At one point they mentioned that they wanted to do the shots with clouds in the sky. And obviously you can't shoot a whole movie in one day when it's cloudy, so you got to keep depending upon the weather.
Yeah.
But obviously not every day can be cloudy. So on the days that it wasn't cloudy and it was just sunny, they're just doing takes, They're just getting the reps down, getting the actors to know, getting the camera, the camera guys, like guys that have rigs on them with the robotic
who have
arms,
to be doing the movement
with the stabilized camera, so they can be walking, the camera still stays the same. Like, that tech is so cool. And then to ever have, I think it's not Kodak, but another camera manufacturing company was already producing.
Was it Kodak?
I don't think it was.
Whatever the camera company, they had to develop a whole new camera just for this movie, and they had to rush it in time just to get the technology.
It's the smallest camera that's able to do
high definition,
the highest definition that they could, and the aspect and all that stuff, all of that stuff that.
And yet they had to make it a small camera because the camera was moving from aerial shots. It had
to be handheld. Yeah. They had to be able to hold it in their hand or on a rig, and so they had to have it so compact and tiny in order for it to be handed off to a person to run alongside or in front or behind them. And then the other technical things they had were it's on a zip line, and they have this rig on it, and those guys literally are moving in front while they're running in front of the actors, put it on this thing, get out of the way so that the actors can go, and the camera's way up there, and it gets so up there, and then it keeps going down. There's a 600-yard.
Tell them about the scene that happened with the crater. So they're in no man's land, 15, 20 minutes into the film.
So for a visual, just imagine a 3D printer, I guess. That's probably not the best example, but I guess it is kind of like a 3D, but you have 4 points, and then you have strings connecting something in the middle, but you have to be able to have this thing moving in the middle. So each, corner has a rig to be able to pull its line and whatever.
Yeah.
But so they construct this around, it's probably 50 feet? 50-foot crater filled with water, dead bodies, all this shit. And you're watching the movie, and as you're watching, you're seeing that they go down into this crater, camera view. No one's in the crater. Obviously, there's no extras.
We're at person level.
Yeah, we're right.
Behind-
I think we're right behind them.
Yeah.
They go down into this crater. It's like a 10-foot drop. They get to the edge of the water, and now they're going around the edge of the water, not through the water. But the camera position switches from behind them to watching them go, and then the camera goes across the water that you just
It's
saw.
so seamless.
And you're just like,
how did they snap that?
what?
Yeah.
There's no ripples in the water. There's no way this person could be moving that fast through the water. Like,
Yeah.
It took me out of the movie just a little bit to be like, how the fuck did they do that?
Yeah, but you're the only one notices it. Like, not the only one, but you and me notice things like that other people don't notice. That is, it does. What you do is you don't sacrifice. You want to get the best shot, and whatever it takes to get that shot, we're gonna do it. Whether it takes a crane or a small camera or choreography,
lesser
behind
actors,
the camera.
lesser actors just cheat and they just do cut tricks or whatever. They don't actually. All right, we're gonna do this properly. Like films like Mad Max and
yes,
and John Wick and stuff like that. That we're not gonna cheat. This is gonna be authentic. And
it's
you see this
really
here because
hard.
you don't see the ripples in the water. You just see this thing. And so this machine is like, have this camera come down. No one's touching it. It's just automated. Sam Mendes is sitting somewhere back in his thing.
Who knows where he is?
With his little camera or his little joystick. He's like, and just getting the shot that he wants. And then as soon as it gets out of the crater, they have two people to the side, and they
right
pull
back
it,
to following them.
Yeah, they pull it off the thing and then set it on the guy and give it to the guy who's gonna follow them into their next journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's other scenes that are similar, that it's like 600 yards of continuous movement of the camera while these guys are walking, and like you can't do a cut and come back.
No.
It's like, all right, this is what we got to do. So it's awesome to see that they did so many rehearsals.
Yeah.
And then once it came down to it, they were able to get it.
And so one of my hidden gems on Netflix that I really like,
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems is actually coming to. Have you seen that?
I haven't, but it's coming in Netflix.
Yeah, well, you watch it and let's talk about it. I might even rewatch
Too
it.
brutal.
Oh, it's
I don't think we could.
But anyway, maybe upcoming.
We need a not safe for work tag.
Yeah, that movie is a little bit. It's rough.
I haven't even seen it, but I've heard
it's rough around the edges. No, there's it's called Too Late. TOOLATE. Too Late, and the entire movie is, I think, 5 shots, 20-minute scenes. Neo-noir, follows a private investigator, and the whole movie is 5 20-minute long takes. It's amazing that, and they kept the small little mess ups. Like one point in the first scene, one of the actors who's like one of the side actors messes up his lines and starts to laugh a little bit, and they kept it in, and he just kept going because we're 15 minutes into a 20-minute, like, we're not gonna cut this out. And
Fired. You're fucking fired.
well, no, the movie it kind of works and it's authentic, and I still like the movie regardless of all that. But in this movie, they sort of had the same thing where there were, I don't know how many scenes were in this movie, how many different cuts there were, because they edited the cuts in really, really, really well, like hardly noticeable. Nobody really messed up. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of continuity mess ups. Like, they had dirt on their shoes when they were walking through the mud. Like 30 minutes later, you still see the dirt, but it's kind of dried up, and it's like little stuff like that. Like the fact that their boots aren't clean. Like we were watching Transformers a while ago. Actually, maybe it wasn't you and me, but what's her name?
Megan Fox.
Yeah, she like had what's her name?
Angelina Jolie.
No, it was the chick. That might be her name.
The
I don't
chick
know.
in Transformers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Megan Fox.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Megan Fox. Shia LaBeouf. Or are you talking about the
Yeah.
ones with?
No. Yeah, it was her then. She had like white pants, and like there's no way that they would be dirty as shit. Like there was like a continuity thing. It's like all this huge action going on. I can't stop thinking that
There was only
there's no way her white
it
pants
was only
would.
white pants because her skin was so artificially tanned in a dark color that in order to like contrast her skin from her clothes, you had to put this white pants on her ass. Like you were looking at her ass.
Yeah, and there was no dirt at all. And they were like rolling around and all this shit. And I just remember like, no way. And I just fuck this movie. Like
Just like you see war movies and you see an explosion and everyone is covered in a cake of dust in like an action movie or a bullshit, that type of stuff, and it's like a hot girl explosion.
beautiful.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
bit of powder.
Yeah, she like looks dirty but like sexy.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, so you just didn't notice anything with this movie? I mean, there's things like, because I actually watched it with you the second time, which I don't know why I've been doing. I would watch a movie and the next night I just watch it again.
Probably get more out of it.
I just
You've
love
seen
it.
things, yeah.
And I'm like not even bored at all. It's just awesome.
Well, that's also because you watch good movies. If you watched a
Yeah.
shitter and
Yeah.
then I was like, I still want to watch this shitter, you'd be like, good luck.
Yeah, have fun. But early on, like one of the first scenes is the guy with his brother puts his hand on his heart to double check that the picture of his family was still there, and that is way before it's revealed that when he dies, like 45 minutes into the movie, he takes the picture out and it's all bloody and he gives it to his friend and says like carry on. It just so many of all those, and there's 30 other things like that I'm not going to mention that really tied the movie together. It was just a tight, good film, and yeah.
You ready for that fact I was
Yeah.
going to throw at you? So I found out, and I didn't recognize this at all, but he did look familiar, I guess. But the brother that we see in the beginning of the movie that takes the mission and says, "Yeah, I'll go deliver the message." You want to guess who's the actor?
I don't know.
Do you remember a little shit king in a show called Game of Thrones?
Joffrey? Really?
Yeah, that's Joffrey.
That's Joffrey?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
So if you want to see Joffrey
Really?
get a little chubby, a little bit older, and then get gutted like a pig and bleed out, watch this movie because you'll get the satisfaction.
Dude, he was, and he was a good actor. I mean, he was.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't
I
recognize
thought
him.
he was really good in Game of Thrones. Just because we hate him,
Yeah.
that means he was doing his
means he was
job right.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like people hated
Especially
him
for a
because
kid. Imagine, I don't know how these kid actors
16,
do it.
17. I mean, they've been doing it for a while. You have
It's so much
Nicktoons, Walt
pressure,
Disney.
and you can work with experience. It's amazing, and also it's very
the threshold's not very high either. It's like, well, this is what we got.
Yeah.
We're gonna go. Now we don't want this kid. Get another one. There are no
Yeah.
more.
I guess you do hear stories of it not going well.
Right.
He's not a kid actor, but he was a very young actor. The guy who played Han Solo, not Harrison Ford, the new one. He had to go take acting lessons. They had to stop production.
The guy who played Han Solo in the movie Han Solo.
Yeah,
Okay,
which
clarify.
was not a great movie.
Still a Star Wars movie though.
I didn't like it.
Star Wars fans are gonna like it. That's because you're not a real nerd. You have
Sure,
an
I'll
indie
take
game podcast. You have a magic show. You have a book show, but you're not a real nerd.
Got it.
I would never put that title on you.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You don't want to be a nerd. You don't want to be a
Dude,
nerd.
look at this
Yeah, you look like a nerd with
quarantine
your
haircut. I look like a.
Got the fresh cut
Oh my god, dude.
30 minutes ago.
Yeah, you looking fresh.
What week of COVID is this?
Oh, 11?
Week 9?
No, this is 11 weeks of lockdown. Not in Florida. We are.
Back open.
You go outside. People are on the beach. They're partying.
I always feel bad when I walk in a Publix though, and I'm the one not wearing the mask.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sick, I promise.
Yeah.
Start wearing the Jew star. I'm not sick. I'm safe.
Nice. Great addition to. I'm glad you said that.
Oh, that's what it turns into usually, right? It's like isn't that something in the Bible, like the mark of the beast, and that's how you know that I don't remember.
Yeah.
But the evildoers were.
I told my mom the other day. I was like, about the Book of Revelation. I was like, the guy was on drugs. He was on psychedelics the whole time. Like he's just hallucinating. And she's like, what? What do you mean? I was like, Mom, read it over again. Like browse through it. Like the guy's talking about visions and all this. Like, and if you look at I mean, I don't know it all, but
Here goes half our audience.
John the Revelator, like the person, he was like on an island. He was crazy. He was like writing letters to
Isolated, can't talk. It's like, all right, guys. Well, we know a little bit about the brain now, so we can draw to the conclusion that he was probably on mushrooms,
It's just heavy psychedelic usage, but
eating whatever food he can find.
Yeah,
He was
All
the
right.
first case of COVID.
You're so dumb.
Isn't it an avian flu? Like if you eat birds, then you just got a disease. Turns your brain to mush. Start writing down 4 horsemen stories.
Yeah, you're probably right.
feel like you hate how much I derail this show.
I do. I do. I've told you 100 times.
What else do we gotta say about this movie? IMDb gives it a 8.3. Rotten Tomatoes 89%.
I already said this, right? I give it a 3 out of 5.
Yes.
I didn't think it was
said 10 out of
amazing
10.
as you. Yeah.
If I would have said 9 out of 10, I would have been right along pretty much with everyone else. It
Yeah.
boxed office $370 million. That's what you do. That's what happens when you release a Christmas movie, right?
Not gonna see numbers like that for a while.
Ever again.
Maybe.
Budget,
Potentially.
the budget was 90 to 100, so that's a big old
I don't know what that means.
Fat check.
90 to 100 million dollars, and then you. Yeah, but you know, Hollywood accounting is so fucked up.
That's true. Probably
Yeah.
cost 150.
They hide costs. They say the movie didn't, because they have things in the contract where if the movie is profitable, but they can mess up the accounting of the movies and say even though like there's hundreds of examples of movies that were huge box office hits that they were not profitable, so that you don't get bonuses to the crew and things like that. It's
all a bunch of
hodgepodge nonsense.
Numbers put together.
Yeah.
It got an Academy Award for Best Cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because the cinematographer...
As it should.
One moment, please.
Was it someone famous or well known?
This guy has done a shit ton of movies.
Which Sam Mendes, by the way, has made a lot of good movies. He made Spectre and Skyfall, which were...
Road to Perdition.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but...
What was the...
Revolutionary Road?
Yeah, Revolutionary Road with
Leo.
With the GOAT. Cinematography, Roger Deakins.
What else did he do?
This guy. You ready for this? I don't think you're ready for this. Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
Fargo.
Yeah.
The Big Lebowski.
Cool.
Brother, Where Art Thou? Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? A Beautiful Mind.
Okay.
The Village. Jarhead. No Country for Old Men. Revolutionary Road. True Grit. Skyfall. Unbroken. Hail Caesar. Blade Runner.
Yeah. Original?
What?
Blade Runner, the original, or 2049?
2049.
Ooh.
That it was his first.
Have we not talked about Blade Runner on this channel yet?
We have. Episode 12. I don't know.
I mean, you were fucking making that up because I don't think we have.
Pull that out of my ass. I'll go check right now so they can.
No,
we'll throw the link up on the screen.
We have not.
Post.
I know we haven't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we have not.
I don't believe you.
Well, look, we're only.
If there wasn't so many goddamn videos on this channel, I could look it up easily. But you were just pumping out content. And by
what do you think about those
I mean
thumbnails
you.
with the yellow? Is that good or bad? Or is it clear?
Don't ask me.
Okay. It's rough out there to make these and no one's watching. I don't know what we have to. I'm willing to change. I just don't know what to change. Like I want to make this entertaining or whatever, but yeah, we haven't done it.
It's hard to watch without.
Let's wrap this up. I don't want this video to be.
I always wrap it up.
Too long.
You let me know.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts on the movie? I said everything I wanted to say about it.
And more.
Yeah. I'd recommend it.
Are you sure?
Oh, one thing though is I thought it was pretty like grim when the guy cut his hand on the barbed wire, and then he's like walking and then he falls.
His hand falls
into a dead body. I was like,
you're dead. You're dead. You don't survive after this movie.
Yeah.
There's no post. There's not going to be 1917 2.
1918. There's not going to be no 1918 for you, buddy.
How long was the World War, by the way? World War One.
World War One? I don't know.
It was more than 10 years, right?
As a culture, I don't think America was heavily involved, and even in World War II, we weren't heavily involved until like 1944 and onward. So,
well, we didn't get involved in World War One until they started submarining our ships, and then we're like, all right, fuck you.
Do you know what year that was? I don't know. I don't know my World War One history.
I don't know everyone. I didn't pay attention in class. I was goofing off.
Yeah.
Putting stuff in my butt in the back.
Okay.
I guess we haven't done
We have not done Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
All right. That's all.
Looper and lots of Corona. I like that one.
You know, my sister was excited. She's like, "Ooh, Looper! I'll watch that one." I was like, "That's not the one to watch. We barely talked about the fucking movie. Just
That's
drinking."
fine, dude. Just watch us goofing off. That's 50% of why they come here. If they wanted real reviews, or
Go somewhere else, bitch.
if they wanted concise, eloquent,
Scripted.
real proper information on movies,
You're going to the wrong place.
just go read some articles or watch those million sub channels. You'll get the content that you want, but 50% of why they come watch us is
For
this dynamic.
this bullshit. Yeah.
For you rolling your eyes at me and me laughing as I make jokes and you just move right on.
Yeah.
It's the magic we got, dude. We got to hold on to our magic.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
See you guys.
Remember to like and subscribe.
Please, Jesus, like,
click that little,
holy shit.
Click that little bell so when you upload the next shitty video, you can tune in and be like, God damn it, they're still so bad. Just do that for us.
Yeah. I don't know. Keep doing them.
It's a tough
This is
world out
fun.
there, dude. You think with Corona we'd get more views, but you fuckers won't. Thanks for listening, guys. Anal.